I did write my bio in all caps, so that was an appropriate reading.
Oh, thanks, yeah. That's how I knew.
All the parties I've ever been to. I thought I was a drinker until I stood up. I took the wrong shoes and then threw the wrong shoes in the bushes. I threw up in a shoe. I threw a big party and didn't show. The ambulance lost power. The ambulance was like any other car, counting down the traffic lights. There won't be another time like this. That was the promise. Dana tried to put his whole fist in Kayla's mouth. He was weird even then. I took a photo with Joe and then a photo with Vincent. They each loved a different me. I opened a bottle against the wall. No one told me I was dangerous. I just kept getting away with it. This time around, I'd like to nap more. Reborn from under the mountain of coats, surprising whoever's fingering in there. Thanks, guys. I've started to do that thing where you just start reading a poem with no introduction because I think it's so cool when other people do it. I totally don't pull it off yet, but I'm trying. Thank you so much for coming. This is such a cool space. I know it's kind of a weird day in Toronto, so I'm just happy that we're all here and we're all together, and it just feels good to be with my friends right now, so thanks for coming. Okay, so kind of continuing on this theme, I worked in advertising for a long time, which is like a very alcohol-heavy profession to work in still. And at one summer party, they gave us these goodie bags that had these pills that were called after-party trademark hangover pills. And I was like, finally, the magic pill I've been searching for. And I looked at the ingredients. They're basically just like various forms of powdered dust. And I was wondering, like, this is a whole industry. Like, someone makes these pills and sells them, and there's like a trade system. And I just started thinking about that. I'm like, who makes these pills? Who takes them? And that's what this poem is about. So the first section follows someone who's making them in the after-party cure pill factory. And then the second part kind of follows someone who might take them. She worries over every grain of capsicum extract and voluminicum. She worries about her liver, learns from the box how easily it can flop over like a sad brown dog. Her father set her up here, and her mother pushed her over. At the after-party, trademark, party cure pill factory, she works in measuring and packing, figuring how long, in grains, it takes her day to flip. When her husband calls, she flips to accept, then flips shut. His voice is hoary and rich. She's tired. She's tapped out. Once she passed out under a table and slept until her neighbor needed her. Outside, the refuse bucket wobbles with technicolored moringa, supplying key antioxidant transport to the lymphs of teenage skin bags drunk off their own tallness. A hangover might be just the way to quiet. So she called in with one. Now she sits by the train watching a group of young men tack their maps together and trade sips from a brown liver. If she were to open her hand and offer a cure, could she too be redeemed? Swaddled in white down and fed pizza? Drowned in the river of a mile of fruit runoff, the most giving superfood, and a bitch to scrub out of concrete. Every hope was hers, every grain of it. She walked on the tracks until she couldn't keep herself straight. The pills were burning a hole in her pocket and in her stomach. Hope is acidic and hungry like bile, like what the liver remembers from a past life. 2. Blonde Jason threw himself into dance in the dining car with such gusto, the attendant had to fan herself in the washroom. The train made only one stop that night, and he ended up trackside with a bag of his own vomit and a pair of someone else's shoes. His new friend yelled out the window after him, "Love is shit!" Jason thought nah about a lot of things. He cried and walked. He cried for his mother. He was lost within himself like a train or like a car that was being shipped far off from its makers. He napped amongst the vipers in the knee-high grass. There's no danger in the unseen. When the train whittled past him, the sun was up, and so was he. Up to it, up for whatever, for hitching a ride through life like a burr on a backpack. And like most hangovers, he was both a little drunk and a little sick off the world that had given so freely to him. And the woman at the the station with those 3 brown pills in her palm. Would she, too, take the easy way out? Okay, one that's not about parties or hangovers. It's the whole book. Okay, how am I doing for time? I have no concept of time, generally, and also when I'm reading. Good?
Grant started us earlier than I was going.
Okay.
I think, yeah, well, no, we're doing just fine.
We're doing okay? Okay. So this book is kind of about fucking up in your teens, and then in your 20s, and then about a family that kind of fucks up a bit, and then some redeeming poems at the end, where everyone tries to figure out what they've done and how to get better at life. This is a poem about looking at your ex's Facebook profile on incognito mode, which is apparently, it won't show up in your history, but it will show up in the NSA's records. So just so you guys all know. Okay, it's called Hello, It's Me. Even Adele couldn't throat the misery I felt, deep into incognito mode, while my husband worked over a complicated meal. I remembered the mat at the back of your neck, the musty whatever of you, 2 teens having sex for the 10th time ever. Each body part a little triumph, a hooked comma in my future mumblings. Knowing you live in a 2-car off the deepest lake on the island's west side is like knowing too much about anything. It wallows in the shallows of my mind until summer, when shins stir up the muddiest thoughts of you. If that was a stretch, you should see how I used to bend out of your way on my old route, up to the chicken place, down way away from the yoga studio, frankincense and sweat like a mouthful of you. Now I'm grown and heavy-footed and still a tear. If that's all it takes for me, a greeting belted out of a computer speaker, then what did it take for you to turn away from my hello? Years out, when I bumped into you between tacos at Hernandez's, poking at the membrane between past and passed over. How easy to have replied. To have tied my girlhood up in a dark bag, rather than strewn it over my happy life, like a bra across the back of a chair, across a life like a hand across the back of a chair, right through the speakers, through the bra, through my hair. At my launch, I brought this up, and everyone was like, don't know what you're talking about at all. But did anyone have a dog who probably died, but your parents were like, we sent him to a farm up north and he's happy? Okay, so there's, okay, good. This poem just kind of imagines if maybe I could be sent to one of those farms where I could just chill out for a bit. So this is called Dog Farm. They're sent here to the open field, defamilied, when they get too familiar. They run like wild grass stuck to a shoe, begging to sit. If you held out your hand, would they reach you? Would you tell them no? Could you please? If every night is someone's big night, the world can't sustain that many single tears running down that many seatbelts. I was sent here to be solitary, a monk escaping to the hill to see the sun bludgeoning in, to feel violent again. No dog is unwanted, I reassure myself as they circle me. No, they say, but these aren't our names, and where are our leashes? I'll just read one more. Thank you so much for coming. You've been a lovely audience. And this is a very fantastic room. Daniel, a fantastic host, a commensurate host, as always. I changed my mind last minute, sorry. I'm still going to read one more, though. Just a different one more. This one's called Maiden Name. It was handed down to me like a sweater. The discrepancies mended, the tragedy patched. My father, in a new suit, proclaimed that I was, above all, herself. And so I was, perched between past and future like a stuffed dodo. I shook off the sawdust, no longer a maiden suckling at bar straws. My new name is vampiric, darker, waxing and waning like espresso on a wobbly coffee table. Brown still. I'm thinking of doing a callback, wearing my old red sequins out networking, baring my throat at the status meeting, incorporating velvet. No hyphenation, I'm full you. See what you think of your little bird now, who is half cat, eating herself.